to be a success, and it's going to change the lives of millions of people.
That's Steve Young, the first person in the UK to try the new cancer vaccine for melanoma. Back in February, we spoke to Adrian Taylor, who was told he had incurable cancer with few treatment options left. So Adrian joined a clinical research trial at the Clatterbridge Cancer Centre in Liverpool. He was given an experimental cancer vaccine which completely turned things around, as he told us.
Just after my last birthday, I saw the trial lead, the professor who was looking after me at Clatterbridge, and I told him that I had a scan, and he said, "Oh, let's have a look at that then." And he spun around to his computer, and he brought the scan up on his screen, and all I could see from behind him was he was shaking his head side to side. So straight away, my heart sank. I was on the floor, and he spun around on his chair with the biggest beaming smile you have ever seen in your life. And he said, "This is remarkable. I think you might just have gotten away with this."
Well, delighted to say Adrian is back with us now, along with his consultant oncologist and the Centre's Director for Clinical Research, Professor Christian Ottensmeier. Welcome to both of you.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much. Thank you.
It's fabulous to have you. Adrian, hearing that moment, you know, when you went from the lowest point and then to the highest point, I mean, you have really been through the ringer. So take us back to the moment where you thought, you know, this isn't good.
I survived my first cancer journey, which was head and neck cancer, which was done by traditional therapies, which was radiotherapy and chemotherapy. That was quite a brutal regime, physically, emotionally, mentally, financially. And I was given the all clear on that in June 2022. But there was a caveat attached to it. And something had been picked up in my lung, which required further investigation. So I was referred to the Heart and Chest Hospital, and they were going to look at surgery as an option, which would have been difficult because I was actually on blood thinners. And at the time, they told me there's a 2 to 3% chance you'll die. And I said, well, I'll take that every day of the week. And the consultant looked me in the eye and said, "Put it this way, Mr. Taylor, without treatment, there's a 100% chance you're going to die." And it kind of hits you like a sledgehammer at that point. And it's like an out-of-body experience. Your blood runs cold and you just go on autopilot and in survival mode. So fortunately, I was referred to Clatterbridge in Liverpool, where I met the Prof and his team. And I was accepted onto this trial vaccine along with standard immunotherapy. At the start of the treatment process, I had at least 6 tumours in my lung. The biggest one was 25 millimetres. That had grown 150, 200% in 4 months. So it was quite an aggressive form of cancer. Okay. So treatment started in November 2022. And every scan since then has improved my position. Pretty quickly, at least 5 of the tumours disappeared altogether. And the last tumour is still there. But where it was 25 millimetres back in pre-trial, it's now at last scan 2.5 millimetres. So it's shrunk by 90%.
Goodness.
I've got another scan on Monday coming, and I'm hoping when I've got treatment the week after, there'll be more good news. It's absolutely fantastic. As Steve said, you go from a very, very dark, lonely place. Somebody suddenly puts the light on, and there's suddenly hope where before there was despair. And it's an absolute brilliant feeling, a fantastic feeling. You are given a second chance. You are reborn, basically. And you can actually look forward to things. I mean, I just celebrated my 55th birthday at the end of March. A couple of years ago when I was first diagnosed, that wasn't even on the radar. I didn't think I'd get to it.
You also walked a daughter down the aisle, didn't you, at the end of last year?
Yes, I walked my daughter down the aisle, which she'd been planning the wedding over a year. And I said to her, I'll be totally honest with you, I don't know if I'll be able to make it. But thankfully, I did make it, and it was one of the proudest days of my life. And 6 months later, I attended both my daughter's graduations. Again, something I didn't think I'd get to. So now, where before, irrespective of how positive you are, you look at everything as potentially the last time you'll do it, like your last Christmas, your last birthday, your last function. But getting to these milestones and now being able to look forward with hope and positivity, it's a game changer, and it's all down to the technology and the knowledge that's going into these cancer vaccines, and people like the Prof and all the staff at Clatterbridge and the drug manufacturer. It's coming on fantastically as a technology, and the future is bright.
Well, it really is. Let's bring in Professor Christian Ottensmeier, consultant oncologist, your consultant oncologist, and the Centre's Director for Clinical Research. Do you look at Adrian's progress and think he has defied expectations, or do you think I always knew we could get here?
Well, I've been interested in developing cancer vaccines for a very long time, bucking the trend really at the time and over the decades. But it's wonderful to see that this particular way of making the immune system recognize cancer is finally coming into its own. And I think Adrian has been such a remarkable person and also such a remarkable ambassador for us that it's so gratifying to see that things have turned out so well. I think the puzzle remains whether what Adrian is experiencing can be sort of abstracted, or if you wish, canned and turned into a principle. So what is it that made Adrian's immune system able to turn the vaccine into an effective army of soldiers that are eating his cancer cells? And I think that's really where the next 5, maybe 10 years will be in drug development. And I think over the last 2 years, I think it's been astounding to see how many clinical trials are now reporting that if you push the right buttons using vaccines together with immunotherapy of the kind that Adrian's also had, that this actually can make proper treatment and make really bad cancer better. So what an opportunity for our patients going forward.
Oh, it's amazing. We were talking about this skin cancer vaccine, and we heard from Steve Young there, and what they did was they removed the tumour, they sent the cells to America, and that's when they developed the treatment, the mRNA vaccine, which is the COVID jab essentially, plus a second treatment, and that's how they came up with the vaccine that they gave to him for that melanoma. Is it a similar process that you've come up with for Adrian's vaccine?
So yes and no. So yes, because the vaccine that Adrian has received is also an mRNA vaccine. So the platform, or the vehicle, if you wish, which we're using to train the immune system is quite similar. What is different is that in the study that Adrian is part of, we hope that we have one vaccine that is useful for many patients, not just with head and neck cancer, but potentially also with other cancers that are caused by this human papillomavirus, HPV in short. In the melanoma trial that has just made it into the news, a new vaccine is made for each patient. And the difference is that the cancer cells, as they become cancerous, are different from healthy cells, and reading out those differences and turning them into a vaccine seems to be really quite successful in a number of studies. The problem is that that's expensive, time-consuming, difficult. You need new tissue, and also the cancer cells continue to evolve. So the things that make the cancer cells unique and different at the time when you sample them may no longer be that different, or may not longer be the key differences in later disease. So what we're worried about is that the vaccines that are personalized may be great if they eliminate all the cancer cells, but may not be so effective if they try and keep the pressure on against a moving foe. So I think...
it's positive, isn't it? When we, as you say, we're looking at maybe in the next 10 years, we could get to that point. There are the 8 sites in this country that are conducting trials. Adrian, final word to you, how does it feel? I mean, I want to call you patient zero in a way, because what they've done with you, they've proved can be done, but they've done it specifically for you. And now the hard work starts with, okay, how do you take that in theory and create something that will kind of be one size fits all? How does it feel to not only have your life back, as you say, to be reborn, but also know that taking part in that trial is the sort of building blocks to save other lives too?
It's the best feeling ever. I mean, when you're given those words that you've got cancer, it changes everything. And you look to your family. What are they going to do without you? Your wife, your kids, your grandkids, your siblings, your wider family group. And it's about survival for them. And given this second chance of life is absolutely amazing. I just can't describe how positive the future is for me now. I mean, health-wise, mentally, emotionally, physically, I feel fantastic. Totally chalk and cheese with the traditional cancer remedies and treatments. But the fact that I'm on this trial as well is brilliant. I said from day one when I read the trial protocol, if not for me, the future in general is looking very, very bright and very positive for a lot of people. Because everyone quotes this, 1 in 2 people will get cancer in their lifetime, which sadly is a very real and very scary statistic. But with treatments such as this, which aren't as invasive as traditional cures, it's a lot easier to do it. I go to the hospital every 3 weeks. It's like chatting with old friends, and it's just totally different. And yeah, I feel humbled and proud to be on this trial. And if you like, setting the groundwork for cancer treatments in the future.
You certainly are, and I'm glad you made that point because it isn't as invasive, this treatment. Adrian, thank you so much for joining us, and thanks to Professor Christian Ottensmeier as well, who is Adrian's consultant oncologist and the Director of Clinical Research at the Clatterbridge Cancer Centre in Liverpool. Want to get in touch with anything you've heard and share your experience? Please do. 850 5820.